The raging tide of violence in Nigeria is proving increasingly frustrating as more dastardly acts continue across the country. Recently, the Nigerian army killed a key commander of ISWAP in northeast Nigeria, who interestingly was a very young man. A study of the age range of Boko Haram insurgents captured by the Nigerian military in the war against insurgency shows the predominance of young people among them. That many of them are well educated lends credence to the argument that unemployment is one of the key causes of young people joining insurgent and militant groups. Strong indicators suggest that general youth restiveness and the Boko Haram menace is fueled by the fact that Nigeria, one of the largest producers of oil in the world, has most of its population below the poverty line of $1 per day.
There is no doubt that when the youth have nothing doing, they resort to violence. Not only resorting to violence directly, it becomes easy for charismatic persons who have evil agenda to convince them to do whatever they want them to do. Because you have the money, this person is hungry, you give him money, you convince him that so and so thing is correct, and that thing could be violent.
Well, I think, in my opinion, yes, this is the situation because an unemployed man is a willing tool in the hands of anybody who wants to manipulate him or her.
Former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Charles Soludo, said, more than 10 million children are out of school in northern Nigeria, an indication that the unemployment problem in northern Nigeria is worse than in other parts of the country.
There is no doubt at all that there's a correlation between impoverishment and violence. So the amount of violence we're having in our society today is a direct fallout of the huge unemployment, youth unemployment that we have, and the impoverishment of the youth. And I've said it in several fora that until we have an antidote to the youth unemployment in our country, I have said it's a ticking time bomb and it's beginning to manifest. And with time, if care is not taken, then there's going to be trouble.
You need to have leaders with visionary leaders that thinks of tomorrow, leaders that think of their subordinate, leader that thinks of those around them. But unfortunately, governance in Nigeria today has been reduced to every 4 years where there will be election. All what leaders thinks of is to amass wealth that on the eve of election to share the 10,000 naira to 2,000 naira. That is why you see that leaders don't even think.
It is a well-known fact that radicalism usually prospers in the gap between rising expectations and declining opportunities. This is more so where the population is young, idle, and bored, where art and entertainment are heavily restricted. The involvement of young people in the rising violence across the country is a cause for concern, and many have blamed this on the high rate of unemployment in Nigeria. Every year, thousands of young people finish the mandatory 1-year stint in the National Youth Service Corps without any hope of securing gainful employment or starting a business of their own. Generally, the frustration for the educated Nigeria is perhaps heightened because of a sense of entitlement their exposure to the good life education promises. Experts argue that this is a major contributor to the restiveness and violence in the land, given that there is also a rising spate of drug and substance abuse as well as rape and domestic violence. It paints a frightening picture of a situation threatening to spiral out of control unless something is done to tackle the problem.
Government needs to create jobs. Government needs to make life more meaningful. We need policies that can that will enhance livelihood. Okay, workers need good returns on investments. Workers need life wages, not wage. Nigerians need to be able to own their country.
There is a strong consensus that massive unemployment has led many youths to become elements of destabilization and threats to socio-economic peace, as more youths are now used by unscrupulous politicians to cause havoc in the country, especially during elections. While the federal government of Nigeria puts the unemployment rate at 23 and 40% respectively, it is believed that over 70% of youth population in the country is unemployed. The federal government, in response to this challenge, claims it has created over 7 million jobs in the last 4 years, which, according to the Minister of Labor and Employment, Chris Ngige, should not be looked at from a white-collar perspective alone, as indeed so much has happened in the agricultural sector, something he calls the blue-collar job.
I have not seen the efforts of government manifesting practically on the streets. Everywhere you go, you see Nigerian youth getting involved in all kinds of things. Today, the things I see are that Nigerian youth are becoming more creative in terms of creativity in the arts, music, and things like that, to get themselves engaged, because there is no longer free money in the streets. But in terms of government projects making an impact on pulling people out of the streets or out of poverty, I don't have the statistics, but from what I'm seeing, I don't see any impact. I don't see any relationship between what the government is doing and the youth getting out of poverty. So I think the government needs to rejig whatever it is they are doing. They have to increase the tempo to make it more impactful, to make it more workable, to make it, to pull the youth, to let the youth see that yes, when President Trump makes a statement that 7 million jobs have been created in the US, you can track it. So I want Nigeria to be able to track it.
Youth need orientation again. The youth need more food. We need to focus on the youth. Anything that will make the youth as great as they should be, we need to do that. Some of us may be lucky. I'm in my office sitting. If I must say this and I repeat it, and we need to know, if I have no hope, if I believe I can be something, you will find me under the bridge smoking weeds or wasting my life away, and can even resort to violence. But today, even if violence is coming, I will look for a way to excuse myself. And I think we need to really focus on them, work on them, discuss with them.
The Central Bank of Nigeria has also announced a program to create 10 million jobs in 5 years as part of the Buhari administration's plan to lift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty in 10 years through job creation and economic diversification.
We must up the game using the private sector to address the issue of youth unemployment, because government cannot employ. It is the private sector that drives employment. Government creates an enabling environment for the private sector to grow, and when the private sector grows, the issue of employment is addressed. So for me, that is one major area, and I think I must commend government for what government is doing now. The Empower, school feeding, all these things are all aimed at engaging as many people as possible.
I remember one time when I was working for government, we were 3 in the office and the job was moving fine. Suddenly, 12 more people were employed and posted to us, and we became 15, and the work got spoiled. So if that is the kind of job government is saying is creating, where you are an already saturated office, you now employ more people to go and work there, that is not the kind of job creation we are talking about. We are ministries that are already saturated with staff. You now give more people jobs there to go and be lazy and just collect salaries. That is not job creation. We're talking of job creation that is practical, that brings new things into place. Not where people are already working and you now bring more people to work there, and they now they spoil the work more, and you see you have created jobs. So I don't need that kind of job creation. We want to see government creating jobs, and those new jobs making new impact in our society. So until Ngige and the rest of them are able to do that, I think what they are saying is just blowing hot air.
I'm worried that what's happening now, if the ratio of the youth coming out of school cannot find job, and they must feed, the only option left for them will be to go into violence. And so this is one area government must look into.
Finally, while government, the private sector, and others continue in their efforts to resolve the unemployment challenge, we must remember that the situation has reached a critical point. Violence is sadly becoming an alternative to many people. If we must rescue our nation, therefore, from total destruction, then the pace at resolving the unemployment challenge must turn quicker. A violence-free Nigeria, and indeed a violence-free world, is possible. That's been our special report. You can actually watch the full edition on our YouTube channel. My name is Kale Ikpe. Thank you for watching.